Hello from the crew at Perfect Plant Support. We want to thank you for coming by to check out our videos. We want to let you know that we have two goals with the Perfect Plant Support. We want to help you increase your yield by up to 20%, and we want to help you decrease your hassle. You know, we've got 20 years of growing experience that we want to pass on to you, and we want to help you get those bigger yields with less hassle. Now this video is the installation video for what's called the top of the pot application. Now you would use this application for growing single plants in any container which you can attach the all-in-one support to the top of the container. So for example, in front of you we've got two different types, or three different types actually, of systems that you can attach the Perfect Plant Support to. On the right you see a heavy duty bucket, and then in that bucket and to the left of that bucket from the good people at Sunlight Supply we've got the Flow and Grow system. Now on the left is a top feed Flow and Grow, and on the right is a flood and drain Flow and Grow. But any type of container that you have that has a lip on the top that you can attach the all-in-one support for, this is your video. Okay, so the first thing that you want to do is open up your Perfect Plant Support kit. When you open that up, you're going to see basically three things. Number one is you're going to see 4 trellis support rods. Number two is you're going to see 4 of these all-in-one supports. These are the support that is going to allow you to attach this system to any type of container, using any type of media, growing any type of plant. And number 3 is you're going to find the hardware kit, which is going to be in this green bag right here. Now in that hardware kit you are going to find these contents right here. You've got O-rings, which are for the trellis support rods. You've got these attachment screws, which is what we're going to use for this application. And then you've also got these set screws, which will not be used for this application. These set screws are used for the saucer application. So let's go ahead and use these materials and start putting this together for you. Now the next thing that we want to do is we want to take 2 O-rings and we want to slide 2 O-rings onto the top of each of the 4 trellis support rods. Now this is going to allow you to adjust your trellis for height very easily. And so let's go ahead and stick 2 of these O-rings on each of the 4 rods. Alright, so for this step, what I like to use is I just like to use a normal drill driver, but what makes it really nice is if you can go ahead and get one of these driver holders that actually makes your tip magnetic, and that'll allow you just to grab these tiny little screws and hold them in place so that you can go ahead and install your all-in-one supports. So let's go ahead and do that. And all we're going to do is we're just going to set the all-in-one supports on the rim of our container, and we're going to hold the screw at the same 20-degree angle or thereabouts. You want to make sure to set your clutch pretty low, and when you start to drive the screw, just know that when it starts to get tight, pay attention and make sure to not over tighten it. We just want to make it snug. Just like that, go ahead and install our second screw, holding it at an angle. We're going to drive it and then let up as we're getting tight and just kind of feel that thing get tight. And then what I always do is just kind of check them. If you can wiggle this and the top of your pot moves, then you know you've got good tension on it. So let's go ahead and install the other 4 or the other 3. Just like that. Now you're done. Now we're going to go ahead and show you how to install on something like the Flow and Grow system. Okay, so here we have the Flow and Grow, and this is installed just like any other top of the pot application. For this, I'm just going to come to the corner and I'm just going to hold it out to the very edge of this container, and again just hold it in place and just screw it down until it's tight. Just going to go ahead and install both of the screws in each one of these. And again, if you can wiggle it and the top of your pot moves, that's exactly what you want to see. Now let's go ahead and install the others. All right, there we have it. You've got the 4 all-in-one supports on the corner of this Flow and Grow bucket, and now we're ready for the next step. Okay, so the next step is just to simply install your 4 trellis support rods into the all-in-ones. And what I like to do is, when I'm coaching people on how to get a great 20% increase in your yield using the Perfect Plant Support, I like to tell them that the best thing to do is to go ahead and go through your normal grow cycle, do whatever pruning and trimming that you normally do in grow, and then move your plants into the bloom cycle. Once they've been in the bloom cycle for about 10 days, they're going to start to show little fruit. At that point, I really believe that the best thing to do is to prune out all of the spaghetti or the little branches underneath that are never going to get any light. I like to top my plant, and I like to make sure that all of the branches are at about the same level, and you can do that pretty easily by just topping the top of your plant. And once I've pruned and topped the plant, then I install the trellis support rods and the trellis itself and feed all my branches through that trellis net, and then go ahead and just leave that thing alone for 6 to 8 weeks and enjoy a nice yield with decreased hassle. So let's go ahead and install these rods. All we do is just slide them into the holes here. And that part's done. Alright, so now we've got our all-in-one supports screwed to the top of our pot. We've got the trellis support rods inserted into the all-in-ones. Of course, we have our O-rings that are installed on the trellis support rods. Now what we're going to do is we're going to cut the trellis netting to the size that you want your plant to be. Meaning that if your plant is a little bit bunched up and you want to spread those branches out to get light clear down to the middle of your plant, you want to cut your trellis netting to the size that you want your plant to be. Now, if your plant is already nice and spaced out, just cut your trellis netting to the size of your plant, and then we're going to install that trellis netting onto the Perfect Plant Support system. Let me show you how we do that. Okay, so what you can see is that I've cut a piece of trellis netting that'll be the perfect size for the plant I'm growing. Normally you'd have a plant in the bucket and you can use that as a guide to make your trellis net the exact size that you need, also the exact height that you need. But all we're going to do is we're going to take the trellis netting, we're going to take the trellis net support rod, and we're just going to bend it inward and then hook it onto the trellis netting using the O-rings. Now, when people see the Perfect Plant Support set up without a plant in it, it can look kind of flimsy. But what you need to remember is that all of your branches are going to be pulling away from the center of the plant. Branches don't fall down, they fall away from the plant, and then they break because they've fallen away from the plant. So what you're going to have is 8 or 10 branches that are all pulling against each other, and these are pulling on the 4 edges. So the more branches that you have, the sturdier the perfect plant support becomes, and it is just the best way to decrease your hassle and increase your yield. Listen, we want to hear from you. I know the results that I've gotten by using trellis netting. I know the hassle decrease that I've gotten from using the perfect plant support, but we want to hear from you. Please log on to our website and send us an email and let us know what you think of the perfect plant support. Listen, we appreciate your time. We're glad you came here to get a little bit of information. Check out our other videos on the perfect plant support applications, and also the trimming and pruning videos that we're going to have on there. And please let us know what you think of the perfect plant support. Thank you very much once again, and we want to wish you good growing.